Hello, everyone. This is your host, Debra Poneman, and I'd like to welcome you to our call with today's guest, Amy Flynn. Amy is a facilitator of consciousness, change, and transformation who acts as the voice channel for an expression of non-physical source consciousness known as the collective, who lovingly transform all they teach and interact with. The collective are multidimensional source guides that Amy considers the, quote, larger non-physical aspect of herself, end quote. Amy's been channeling and connecting with collective since childhood, but only recently gave them the name of the collective since she felt that referring to them as my larger part was a bit of a mouthful. The collective are infinitely wise, loving, always joyful, and along with Amy, absolutely committed to everyone's expansion and evolutionary growth. Amy says that the collective are wonderful, loving teachers and guides, but terrible cooks, and I cannot wait to find out how she knows that. And Amy, as you will very soon experience, embodies a loving energy and spreads instant joy through channeling her connection to higher source. Known as a people and a business healer, Amy quickly shifts people into a higher vibration of love to move and awaken you to remembering who you really are. She also empowers those she serves to engage joyfully and powerfully with life so they experience manifesting success after success, and to leave our minds behind and let our hearts drive our life. And today, you're going to discover how to move beyond your mind and into a higher vibration of love and joy. Also, you'll discover tools that will help you connect with Source and shift you away from scarcity and fear. A few simple tricks you can use anytime to instantly quiet your critical mind and move into peace. How your breath is a magical tool that opens the door to your delicious life. And by the way, throughout the session, Amy will be transmitting high-frequency energy, which will raise your vibrational frequency as you listen. Oh, my goodness. Are we in for a powerful experience today? Amy, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the call.
You're so welcome, and thank you. I'm so delighted to be here with everybody. Hi, everyone.
I think we can all already feel the energy of what is going to take place during the next hour or so, hopefully, or so, because I know you have so much to offer. And the first thing I would love is if you could share with everyone on the line a little about your amazing journey, starting with your childhood and into your 20s. I was just blown away when I heard about your life. Could you share this with everyone?
Of course. I would be delighted to. All right. So like all babies, I was born. I popped out. I came into form. I like all babies, I was energy, and I showed up in a little body. And like all babies, I was fully connected to Source. I was seeing energy. I was being energy. I was flowing Source through me without limitation. All babies do when they're born. And like all babies, the adults and people around me began to teach me. They taught me, of course, naturally, their experience. They taught me things that they thought would be beneficial to me, which translates to they taught me their limitations and their perceptions of things. And so I learned those, but something different happened. For some reason, I was not super comfortable. I saw through things in the material world. I saw through things in the world of form. I saw that people were not as happy as they professed to be. I saw that though they were striving for all these things and had accumulated things or desired things and were moving towards getting things and whatever, there was joy missing. There just wasn't a whole bunch of joy and a whole bunch of happiness. And no matter how much they tried to add to themselves in the material world, there was something missing. that wasn't happiness. They were also expressing this. That's how they were being, is an expression of this state of not happiness. And thankfully, I was born to someone who was very good at expressing not happiness. And so I, as a baby and a child, and in my formative moments, after, when I was an infant, I just said, I don't like that. That doesn't feel right to me. And I never shut the door on source. I never did. I grew up with feet in one world and the other. So I was like straddling in both. And so I was always fully aware of source. And I always had access to source. And so we call that channeling, receiving, blending, all these different terms now. But really what it is being your natural state of being. And so I just remained that, as well as learned all the things that I needed to learn in my years, my formative years. And as a child, basically up to, I'd say, about age 9, I was very aware of source. I used to go sit outside on the swings in my yard. And because I never felt I was receiving love the way that I knew that love was, unconditional, expansive love from anyone in the material world, the physical world. So I'd go out and I would just enjoy being outdoors. And I'd sit on the swings all by myself and in the yard with the trees around. And I would just close my eyes and I would feel, I would communicate with, I would connect with all of the consciousness in the, what I would call air around me. And I would feel an infinite number of hugs. I was just being hugged and loved. And it was this powerful force beyond anything that existed in the physical world. I always stayed conscious and aware that the air around me was not empty, but full of consciousness. And I would always try to explain this or share this with people, but of course they just didn't have the capacity to hear it. They also didn't have the capacity to understand about what we call karma, or that what you put out comes back to you. As a child, I didn't know words or terms or existing things, so I described it as the boomerang theory, which I thought was really good. I would explain that, well, what you put out comes back to you, and comes back to you in threes and hits you in the head when you least expect it, like a boomerang does, and which is pretty accurate. And the adults did not like to hear this from a little child. They didn't want to be taught anything from a little child. So at a young age, while I remained connected in this way, I also learned that people did not want to necessarily hear about it. They didn't have the space to, and that was not comfortable for them. So I learned to just not talk about these things. And then as I grew, I also did not know that what I was experiencing in my awareness was that different from the awareness and the experience of other people. So it's like if you're nearsighted and you can't see something, you don't know that other people can until someone brings you a pair of glasses and you put them on and you go, oh, I didn't know that was there. You mean you see that? It's a very similar thing. So as I moved into my teens, like all teens, I became very focused on fitting in and being accepted by my peers. So that's where my attention went. And I began to put less attention on this more expansive world of energy and source. And, less attention on the ability to communicate with the non-physical in the many ways that I could. And I focused on fitting in. And I began to be very much a part of what I was living and my reality. And I all but forgot my connection with source. Well, I was dramatically reminded of source when I was about 19 or 20, and I was in college, and I was walking between 2 dorms. And it was night. It had just become dark, and it was probably about 7:30 or 8 p.m. And I'm walking along, and there weren't very many people around. And out of the bushes, this guy, jumps out, jumps on top of me, and sits on my chest with a knife to my throat. And I didn't have time to react. I didn't have time to think. All of a sudden, this guy's there, and I knew who he was. I recognized him instantly. He was someone that I knew. But as I looked into his eyes, I also realized there was no one home. He was not present. And I realized instantly he was having what we call a psychotic break. His mind, he just wasn't there. And it was like looking into this bed of fearful, hollow, empty. It was just, I can't even explain what that was like. And I also knew instantly that there's no way to communicate into that because there's nothing there to hear the communication in a normal way. But as soon as I had that instant realization, something big, vast, like I felt this like whoosh, and it just kind of rolled me over to the side. It just went shoo, and it's like my consciousness, me, what I think of as me, was rolled over to the side and literally almost like out of my body. And I moved into a state of pure light, pure expansive energy, and pure bliss and beauty. And I was no longer even aware nor seeing the physical reality. I couldn't see that anymore. It was not there. All I could see was light. All I could experience was this infinite vastness. And what was interesting was that my mind was there too. And it was like, you know how we have this funny little cartoon of on like we have a person and on one shoulder's little angel, on one person's little devil, and they're talking in their ears. Well, it was as my mind was like sitting there on my infinitely vast shoulder saying, you should be afraid. You should be really afraid. There's a man on you with a knife. You should be afraid. And it was in a squeaky little voice like this. And I remember I was like laughing and because it sounded so funny. And I kept saying, look at this. How could I be afraid? It's okay. Look at this. It's beautiful. And the thing just keeps yakking at me. And finally I told it, just please be quiet. Just be quiet. And it just seemed to vanish eventually. And I was just left in this experience of this, magic, this gorgeousness, this infinite beauty and light and love and power and just, And before I knew it, it was over and I was returned back to my body. And once again, I was in my body. I was aware of being in my body. And as I opened my eyes and I looked up, the guy that was sitting on my chest before was now standing up totally straight beside me with his hands down with the knife by his side, totally serene and peaceful. I have no idea what transpired. I have no idea what was communicated. I have no idea if words were communicated or just energy. I don't know because I consciously was not there. And I remember thinking as I got up and I led him back to his friends who then ended up sending him back home where he then went into a hospital for 9 months. I couldn't get over this experience. And I kept thinking, I have to find a way for everyone to have this experience, for everyone to know this part of themselves, for everyone to feel this, to know this, to live this, to be this, because this is them. And as soon as I had that thought, I'm thinking everyone has to be jumped by a person with a knife. How perfect. I could have seminars where everyone gets jumped. And my mind is going at 10 million miles a minute. And as soon as I had that thought, I'm like, no, that's not going to work because they're not going to be as connected as I am. And they're not going to have the experience. They're going to end up panicking and they're going to end up dead. So I said, no, that is not going to work. So I realized now has to be a different way of creating this experience for people other than having them be jumped by somebody with a knife. So I just kind of let it be, but it always lived within me from that moment that this was my burning desire to bring people to knowing this, to bring people to not just understanding it or knowing it with their mind, but to know it, like to experience it, to live it, to be it. When you know something in your cells as an experience, it is 100% yours. You can't undo it. You can't take it away. No matter what happens, it's there. It's the basis. It's the new ground for your being. And that was my commitment from that moment forward. I had no idea how to do it, but it was always there. It was the ground for my being from that moment forward. So that's how everything that I've created and I put out has evolved. It's all evolved from this deep desire and this ground of my being.
Wow. It's so funny, Amy. When you were telling that story, I thought, okay, now everybody's going to go out and try to get jumps, and then you said that, I'll give a seminar on how you can go get jumps and have somebody hold a knife. That was very, very funny.
Can't you visualize it? Everyone comes up to the stage, and then they got to close their eyes, and scary music plays, and when they least expect it, someone flies out, jumps on top of them, and holds a knife to their throat.
And then you can have actors like an angel and a devil on each side of them, and one says, be afraid, be very afraid. And the other, be afraid. Anyway, well, that was quite the amazing story. And so here's what I'm trying to discern. You have had this experience of this energy that's known to you as the collective. You gave this energy, this force of non-physical source. Now, when you get these messages, and also the absolutely brilliant and beautiful way that you support and nurture and help us all to move forward in our lives, and you've been an amazing contribution to me already, is it just from this group that you call the collective, or is there another source, or is it one and the same? And how did this come to you?
Okay. Like most people, you're thinking with your mind. And so therefore, when I say the collective and I say a group of consciousness or the collective expressed as a group, you think of as a group as something with a boundary. You think of as a group as something with a particular number of entities or beings or energies. And it's not. Energy source is unlimited. So the collective are unlimited. They're infinite. They're unbounded. There is no bounded group of consciousness that is the collective that I channel and that comes through me. My larger part is all of source. And I'm going to give you a beautiful visual analogy so that you get this and so that everyone listening gets it too. You know what a funnel looks like, that we pour liquid from one, when we pour it into a bottle and we want to, it's got a wide top, and then it comes down into a little narrow, skinny thing, and then that's the part we put into the bottle so that nothing spills all over the place. You know what I'm talking about, a funnel.
Yes.
Okay, so if you imagine or picture, you are a funnel, and the part that you know of as you, that you experience as you, is the skinny part that it goes into the bottle. In other words, it's a projection off of the larger part. It's a definable part. And it's something that's smaller, it's manageable, and it goes into the bottle, and it has a beautiful function. Without the skinny part, the funnel would not work. It would not do what it's designed to do. But there, on top of that skinny part, it goes out into a larger part. And if we imagine, instead of the funnel that we see where it has a definitive end to it, if we imagine that the funnel doesn't end, but it just continues out, and the sides just go, the whole circumference of it just goes out bigger and bigger and bigger in all directions. So it's like a funnel that just doesn't stop. It just, the larger part on top just keeps expanding out and goes for forever. That's you. That is you. And when these funnels go out and out and out and don't stop, imagine the funnel next to you and the bottle next to you and the funnel next to that. All of these parts, these expanded larger parts of the funnel, all end up connecting to each other into one field. They all connect. They all run together. As they get larger and larger, it becomes one. It is one, and it becomes one. And so when any of us allow and open up to, and it's really a matter of moving your frequency to an open position. So you can think of it that way, like a valve. There's a closed valve, and then there's an open valve. And when you move your frequency to the open position, you receive through the energy, the consciousness of this larger part with all that it knows, with all that it is. It just comes to and through you. We do this all the time. Everybody does. We just don't realize we're doing it. If you've ever created something, if you've ever had a moment where you're just so absorbed in what you're doing, whether you're writing, whether you're drawing, whether you're imagining, you just lose yourself in that moment. You're just not aware of, time. You're just so absorbed in it. And then all of a sudden you look and go, oh, wow, 5 hours just went by. you're channeling. You are open. You've opened the valve to the larger part of you, and you're flowing it through. And so this is really what it is. So when I refer to the collective, I'm referring to this larger part of me. But the larger part of me is the same part that is the larger part of everybody. And I do give it the name of the collective only because saying my larger part is really a mouthful, and people seem to like names. They like things to be neat and tied up and labeled. So when I call my larger part, this consciousness that is my larger part, the collective, they can relate to that. Whereas if I were to say my larger part, it's nebulous. It's not defined, which really the collective are not, but they can't grasp it. People have a hard time wrapping their minds around it because the mind needs something defined. So therefore, we have the name.
Yes, and that was a beautiful explanation. And what I would like to know now is, how does the mind fit in? Because I've heard you say that using our mind to think our way through life actually repels the things that we want. And what I'm hearing, I imagine that the mind is part of that little skinny little part at the bottom of the funnel. But how do we move beyond the mind into that higher vibration, which I assume is the desire, because there's more that expansive love and joy? How do we, who are caught in our minds, move beyond that?
Okay, that's actually two questions, so I'm going to address the first part first. Okay,
what's really? I thought it was 3 questions.
Oh, really? I only heard 2. It may be 3. Okay, so if I miss a part, you can just, ask it again. Just remind me. But the mind is a tool. We're this infinite energy, what we want to call source or infinite huge energy, and we've expressed forth. The large part has expressed forth through the little part of the funnel into this experience that we're living right now. And in order to maximize our experience of that, we have to have something that makes it, I guess we could say, finite, so that we can experience what's known as relativity. Because the whole purpose of the experience that we're living now is to experience joyfully new things and to expand and to know about ourselves and or more properly said, ourself, since there's really only one. And in order to do that, we have to have an experience in a world in which we live. And the function of the mind is to create coherence in that world. So the mind is a beautiful thing, and it's a tool. What happens, though, is because of the power of the mind, we give it too much control over our experience. In other words, we forget that it's our tool to facilitate and enable a wonderful experience here, and to use the mind in the way that we intended to use the mind, and we become a victim of the mind. The mind is a recording device. It's like a computer. It only can hold within it that which is programmed or put within it. So as I mentioned, all babies are born fully connected to source, fully open, fully experiencing this energy flowing. And then the well-meaning adults around them begin to teach them their limitations, because that's all they know. That's what they're teaching. So, they're well-meaning. They're not doing it with the intention of, I'm going to limit you. I'm going to remove possibility from your experience. But that's the effect that it has. And so what happens is our minds get programmed by whatever they're programmed with, and everyone's mind's programmed slightly differently because they're programmed by different people and, absorbed through the different energy of every entity, every person. And we then live that. That's what we see as our world. So what we're essentially doing is we are living in a world that is controlled, dictated to, and defined by the programs programs is such a weird word, but it is kind of like a computer program that we've received. I mean, a computer can do no more than what its operating system and its programs and applications that are loaded onto it can do. And you can increase its capacity by putting more into it. You can remove a program that's limited and old and put a more expansive program in, or override or update something to be more expansive. But it's still always going to be a reflection of, an expression of what's in it. Mind is the same way. And when we become totally mind dominated and live our life totally dictated to by our mind, the effect is the same as if we have built a box for ourselves and we've moved into the box, and our life and our world is existing within that box. That's it. We can't experience anything outside of the box that we built. So we're living in there, we're having a good time, but we want more, but we can't have more, because that more that we're thinking about, we might look over there and say, oh, that person has all that. I want that, but that isn't in your box. So therefore, you can't have it. So what we need to do is we need to recognize what the mind really is and recognize where that more exists, where all possibility exists, where infinite expansion exists, where infinite abundance exists, and infinite experience. And that's in the space of the heart. The heart is the space, is the energy of source. It's unlimited. And when you move into the space of the heart and you are there, living from that, experiencing it, even if it's for a moment, you feel open. You feel an expanded energy, like this energy is pouring out of you. If you imagine that someone drew a line down from the center of your forehead all the way down, like where your pubic bone is. It's a straight line. You got a line drawn on your body now. And you put your awareness on this line, specifically around the place between your heart and your solar plexus. You know that when you feel lousy emotions, or you feel tense or anxious or sad, or, what we consider not the best feeling emotions, if you put your awareness there and check that, quote, line, you're going to feel or notice that line is feeling very contracted. You're feeling contractedness around that line, and it feels like the energy or your body is literally folding in upon that line, this imaginary line that you drew. Now, when you move into the space of the heart, you are actually now feeling the emotions that are the expansive emotions, which are joy, appreciation, gratitude, bliss, love. So when you're in these emotions, really feeling them, and you're in that heart, and you look at and see what's going on with that line, you're going to notice that the energy, instead of folding in on itself, it's pouring out. It's like the line is expanding. It's like the mid-Atlantic rift. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and more is flowing out of it. And it's like there's no limitation to how big it gets. And you actually notice that you feel larger. You feel like you expand beyond and exist beyond the confines of your physical body. And you do. You always do. You're just not aware of it. So when you're in this experience and in this space of the heart, everything and anything is possible. You're not limited in what you can experience and what you can bring into your reality, because you're not in the box anymore. You're outside of the box. You've opened the door and walked out of your box, and you're in the big unlimited world. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes complete sense. And it was interesting because when you were saying, you draw the line between the heart and the solar plexus, that's such an accurate description. When you feel contracted, that's exactly where the contraction is. Mm-hmm. And when you have us move up to the heart space, how profound is that? That, yes, there's no contraction there. Even physiologically, you don't feel it. There's that openness there. So how do we, let's see, we're just going through life. I mean, how do we leave our mind behind and let our heart drive our lives just on a day-to-day basis? Do we put our attention there, or how does it work?
Yes. Yes. The first thing we need is desire. We have to desire to want that. We have to desire that. We have to desire an experience other than what we're having. We have to desire an experience of expansiveness and desire to feel this openness. Desire then leads us to the path of allowing it. It's really an allowing. It's something that already is. We don't have to make it or create it. It already is. And yes, moving your awareness and consciously choosing to move your awareness to the space of your heart. And an easy way to do that is everyone takes their hand right now and just puts it on your chest over where your heart is. Something funny happens with people and human beings. Wherever you touch on your body, your awareness flows to. There's actually a healing protocol built all around that too. And I'm not talking about any of the popular ones. I forgot the name of it. It's kind of a more remote one. They literally just touch a part of the body and move the awareness to it and focus on healing. They allow the person to focus their own inner healing on it. But when you put your hand over your heart, your awareness and attention moves to under your hand. And you're aware of the space. And then you just hold your attention there and literally flow it in within you, underneath your hand. And you just focus on that. And you just breathe into it. And this is part of how the breath is this wonderful tool. So you just breathe, you focus on your breath, and you just breathe in. And if you breathe in magically from the top of your head, imagine you're breathing from the top of your head and you're bringing this beautiful light energy in, open, light, expansive energy in, and you're streaming this light energy into right underneath your hand. And you're letting it build and build and build. And every time you breathe it in through the top of your head, you just let it build more. And you just feel, just close your eyes and you just feel this energy and you just move into this space. You just let everything else go for a few moments. And it brings your awareness to this area. And that is extremely essential in moving out of the mind to the heart, because the mind is very, very good at holding your awareness and attention captive in its loops. And when I say loops, I mean, remember the mind's like a computer, like a recording device, and what it does is it plays back what's recorded in it. It plays back things in endless loops. Boom, 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 boom. And it can be as silly and ridiculous. Some of the things that it plays back are just so not related to what's actually happening. And I'll give you an example of that real quick in a second. But when you move into the space of the heart, you're moving into this expansiveness. So that is a primary step right there, really primary. And I'll take everybody into with the collective, a guided meditation to actually experience what this feels like. So when you feel and live an experience, it becomes a real memory, a cellular memory for you. And then you can reference it. It's like if you tripped and fell down the stairs and broke your foot, you now have a memory of the experience of a broken foot, the pain, the inconvenience, blah, 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 and all that. It's a living memory for you. I take you into this experience in the heart and this expansive energy. It becomes also a living experience and a memory for you. So we'll do that. What I wanted to give you a quick example of is how silly the mind can be, and it's the way that it operates. If you were 5 years old, and when you were 5, a giant furry dog, shaggy dog, leapt out at you and attacked you and bit you. Now, that is an experience that's going to generate fear, it's going to generate pain, it's going to generate all those things, which it's in response to a real experience. The mind records everything. The mind got an underlying purpose of survival. It's very focused on creation of your life, of you, of having you be okay, and you being an individual that exists and survives no matter what. That's really what it does. And it relies upon all the programmed information that has been fed into it from the moment you were born to do this function. So this is an experience that's now fed into the mind. If later on, like 10, 20 years later, you're just puttering around and you open a closet and there's this giant shaggy mop in there in the corner and it falls out at you, you're going to jump back and you're going to feel the same fear and panic and just sheer terror and maybe even pain that you felt when this dog leapt out at you and bit you. Now, we're talking about a mop. A mop. Now, can a mop hurt you? No. Can a mop bite you? No. But the mind sees enough similarity in that instance, and it instantly pulls up the record and the memory of the dog and gives you all of the physiological reactions of the dog so that you can run away from this mop and save your life. Now, isn't that kind of ridiculous? But it is. Yeah, it is. But that's how the mind works. So this is why the mind will never lead us to a more expansive experience, but only a more contracted experience, or at the very most, the same. The same, more of the same. So the expansive experience that we desire lies outside of the mind, lies somewhere else.
So could you share with us a few simple tricks that we can use anytime to quiet our critical mind and to move into that space of expansion?
Yes, I would be delighted to. All right. The first trick is it's not really a trick, but it's a tool. Let's call them tools as opposed to tricks. Tools. All right. Because as soon as we say tricks, the mind goes, oh, you're going to trick me. And the wall of resistance throws up. So we're not going to think of it as tricks. We're going to have some tools in our tool belt. How's that? Yummy, yummy. One of the easiest ones, well, first thing you've got to do is become aware of the mind speaking, of the mental chatter. In other words, you have to hear it as distinct from you. We operate so often in every moment, living and flowing, literally being controlled by our mind and being victimized by our mind and not realizing that we are. And so the mind's going, meh, 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 and we're acting that out. We're just in that space, in that way of being, acting out, doing whatever it is we're doing. The mind's judging something. That's not good. You can't do that. And we're feeling that. We're thinking, that's not good. We can't do that. We got to do this. And we're acting in response to it. So in other words, I shouldn't say acting. We're reacting in response to it. And so the first thing is to become aware of the chatter, to literally hear it. Because when we do, then we can use these tools. And the first tool is, thank you for sharing. Literally, like that, in a very loving manner. Thank you for sharing. I got it. Thank you. You're great. I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing. Now, the mind is not used to you turning around, looking at it, and saying in an appreciative manner, thank you for sharing. What happens when you do is it stops. It's almost as if it gets shocked. It's like, ooh, what was that? And you have a few moments of quiet. The thoughts stop. The chatter stops. And it is perfectly okay to say thank you for sharing 1,000 times during the day, as often as you want to. It never loses its effectiveness. There's no such thing as too much. There's no such thing as overuse. Use it. It's there. It works. It will never stop working. And it's just amazing to experience it. It really is. Because you'll be like, and you go, oh, okay. And you recognize the mind's doing it. You recognize it's chattering at you. Thank you for sharing. And all of a sudden, peace. It's great. It's really amazing. It's delicious. And you have space.
Love that. Love that. So simple.
It is so simple. It is so simple. It is really, 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 really simple. There was another tool I was going to share, and this is a tool to move you quickly into joy. And so no matter what's going on with your mind, you can say, thank you for sharing, or just let it be whatever it is and just get your body up. Just stand your body up. And if you want to do it right now, that's a great idea. Stand your body up, stick your butt out. I'm serious. Stick your butt out behind you a little bit and imagine you have a tail. And then wag your tail really, 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 really fast, like wag it. And there's no way that you can do that without giggling. because it's so silly. It's so silly. And when you do it, you're doing two things. You're flowing energy through you intensively because you're moving. And you are just lifting up the frequency of energy that flows through you. You're expanding and you're moving into this joy because it's just such a silly thing to do. And when you move into joy, you're moving into an expansive energy. So that's another instantly quick, delicious tool that you can use. Bing, bang, boom. Now, another one is words. Literally words. Words create our experience. So when our mind's chattering at us, what's it doing? It's using words. Everything that we're hearing from the mind and what we're feeling in response to, in reaction to the words the mind throws up. Remember, the mind is only giving us back that which it's been programmed and it's received during our lives. So if we've been fed by a lot of critical people, which most of us have because we've been fed by other people's minds, we have a lot of critical words. Well, let's use some words to feel better. So if you consciously choose a word, but instead of just thinking the word, imagine you're putting the word on like an article of clothing. So a really good word, a really kind of cool word. Now, people may not all be able to put this on, so I'll give you some other words, but a really delicious word, delicious is a good word too, but is confident. Now, if you say the word confident, best to say it out loud, but to really say it like you're really feeling it, like you're stepping into it, like you're sliding it on like a coat. Confident. And then breathe into the energy of this. Confident. And feel it. You're going to notice if you're sitting that you sit up straighter. You're standing, you stand up straighter. Your whole body physiologically shifts. The energy that's flowing through you shifts and moves into alignment with this energy of confidence. You don't have to judge or assess whether you are confident in your life or in that moment. You're putting it on like you're putting on a coat. So you're trying on this word and you're wearing it. So if you imagine instead of a word being descriptive of how you're feeling, a word being something that you wear. So it's a different concept of word. And then another word that feels really, really good is the word delicious. Delicious. We all have an experience of delicious, whether it be something that we ate that was delicious, that was so yummy, that our cells just were singing, or an experience that we lived that was so just incredibly amazing. It was so delicious that our cells were just singing with delight. Deliciousness is a state of your cells literally singing with delight, a very high frequency, high energy, delicious state of being. So if we just close our eyes and just say delicious and let that word wash over us, like someone pouring it over us, we're going to feel it. So this is another tool. Now this tool can be a little more challenging to those that are pretty much mired in their mind and not able to just kind of pause with the thank you for sharing, step out of the mind and put on the word. Because literally you're getting dressed in the word. It's like you're putting on your clothing, your energetic clothing by putting on the word. So if you can't do it effectively, that's fine. You will be able to just play with it. Well, however it works for you is great. So if you say delicious and you feel a little bit delicious, that's perfect. You say delicious and you feel, like you're melting delicious, like, orgasmical delicious. That's perfect too. Whatever it is for you is perfect. So those are just some really quick tools that anyone can do at any time. What I'm also going to do in a little bit, with your permission, is I'm going to have the collective come through and I'm going to have them lead everybody in a guided, or you could call it a meditation or energetic journey into the space of the heart, into the direct experience of what it feels like to be in the heart. And so then this becomes a part of your reality. It becomes a part of your cellular memory and something that you can energetically and refer to. In other words, it becomes a part of your programming.
Well, we are looking forward to that for sure. And you know what I would love to do? I know that you've put together an offer for us, and I would love for you to share with everybody what that is. But just before you do that, I'm really curious what's possible for people who are listening here today. And if you could just take a few minutes to share some of the amazing turnarounds that you've seen from people who've applied what you teach. Do you have a couple examples?
Yes, I'm going to share a couple of things that are really experiences that are really powerful. Now, you have to realize that these aren't so much turnarounds as they are completely new life experience. It's like completely new. So it's like what was is no longer, and something completely new has moved into its space. So it's amazing. It's just amazing. It's almost like what people would call a miracle, but it's not really a miracle because, I mean, you are the field of miracles. You are. You are the infinite field that in which miracles can happen. You just don't know it. That's the ridiculous part. All right, so this is the first experience I wanted to share. Someone came to me and she said that, oh, I feel so horrible. I mean, I have never felt so awful. It's like this limiting belief has surfaced, and I just completely don't believe that it can be overcome. It is so heavy. I'm in this amazingly deep depression. It is so bad. I feel like I am sunk into this field of like mud, deep, deep mud, and the mud is like way over my head. I can't imagine that I can get out of this. I don't see how I can. I've been trying, I've been doing things, and I can't. It's like quicksand. I just seem to be going deeper and deeper, and I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. And I said to her, yes, we can shift that completely. And we worked together in a matter of 3 hours. 3 hours, that was it. And what she got to do is we literally remade choices that she made based on experiences in her early life. So what that effectively did was it remade the memories. We altered the timeline, if you want to call it that. We altered the timeline. We altered her experience, changed her memories. And at the end of the 3 hours, she could no longer be, no matter how hard she tried, stuck in this mud. And what she was experiencing before, when she was so stuck in this feeling of under the mud, was that she was literally invisible to people. And she was in a business that was relying on people coming to her and working with her and seeing her very much and experiencing her. And she would go into a room, or she would just, even go into a store, and it was like she was literally invisible. No one would see her. She felt invisible. She was invisible. After this, after we literally transformed this experience for her, she said, I can't keep people away. People are just coming up to me no matter where I go. It's like I have this light that is shining, and I walk into a room of 100 people, and people just clamor to me. And she said, it's just amazing. It's complete opposite of everything that was happening. And she said, I can't believe that this happened. And she said, I can't believe that this black tar that was covering me it's just like blown away, and that it's just like this infinite possibility is now in its place, and that I am this light that is so illuminating for so many. It's just something that I never would have ever thought possible, even with years of therapy. So that's one thing. One of the things she said is that since we worked together, that her life has literally been miraculous. She said it's just all those invisible things just gone. So another one that I want to share is really, really powerful. Is this woman came to me, and I'll never forget this because she was so closed down. She was completely fearful in her life, paralyzed with fear. And she was paralyzed she had this fear of money. I mean, completely. She had no faith in herself. She had no confidence. She didn't like herself at all. And so her experience was that her family was trampling on her. She was being used by everybody. She had a great job and was earning, a nice income, but she was terrified of money so much that she hated paydays. She hated paydays because money would come to her, and then it would be in the account, and she'd have to deal with it, and it always seemed to vanish, and she always seemed to end up then bouncing checks and not having enough, and she doesn't know where it went and why it went. The whole thing was a big fearful experience, and she was so afraid when she came to me that it took her a lot to even reach out. And then she kept trying to pull back. No. And so I just guided her into stepping into allowing this possibility to expand for her. Now she's just amazing. She has a savings account and she's saving all this money. She got a raise. Her pay increased. She started her own business also in real estate, and she is now expanding that. So she's created a whole other flow of income. She's really excited. She views everything from this point of opportunity and expansion. And she's no longer nervous around money. She's empowered. Her family respects her and treats her with delight and respect. And she's got new understanding with her children. And they don't trample all over her, but they work in this co-creative partnership. All of this evolved out of the work that we did together. And she is just this light that is shining, and she is just incredible. And the way that she is in her life and the way that she is with money is just beyond anything that she could even conceive of. She's just not the same person she doesn't even resemble herself in any way at all. And that took about a little less than a year. But I mean, she just completely is a different person. Anything's possible, Debra. Anything. Yes.
Well, now we would like to see what you have to offer, because I know that there is so much more to experience with you, so much more to learn from you. I know you've created a special offer for everyone who's listening to the call, and I highly encourage everyone to go to the special offer now, experience it for yourself. Simply click on the special offer button that's on this page. So, Amy, can you let everyone know what they'll find there?
Yes, and it's so funny that the URL is delicious, because I was going to say we want everyone to be in the space of this deliciousness of this, because it is delicious. And the experience that it creates, that everything here creates, and I put together to create for you, is one of delicious energy, is one of delicious flow, is one of infinite possibility and expansion. So it all builds upon itself. The first thing that's here is directly related to everything that we've talked about here, and it takes it millions of miles more expansively. And it's called Living from the Heart as Love. And I say it's lose your mind, live from the heart as love. And it is an incredible, incredible recording with the collective, teaching, channeling, well, they don't channel, they are the channel, but bringing through this beautiful information, beautiful energy, and extremely powerful guided process that moves you into the heart, into this infinite space possibility of source. And it just changes everything in your experience. You feel so good. It's delicious. It's delicious. And things just start to flow. And it's just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And the second thing is lose your limitations, from chain to freedom, move from chain to freedom. And this is completely and totally about busting out of the box that is your mind. Remember, I defined that the box that all of these programmed thoughts and the programmed stuff that everyone in your life gave you and fed into your mind from the moment you were born, that creates this box that you live in. Well, lose your limitations and move from chain to freedom is all about knocking the walls of your box down and living in this expansive state of reality where everything is possible and anything can come to you. And once you blow these walls down, you have the ability to blow them down over and over and over until they just don't build themselves back up again. And this recording, this program, it's got 2 sessions, and it is powerfully put together to guide you in doing that. And again, there's beautiful guided meditative processes and journeys in there that take you energetically into the doing of this, experientially into it. So it's not all mental learning. It is literally everything that I do contains, and what the collective does with me, contains the experience of whatever is being talked about, because it's in the experience that the power lies. Because learning all stays in the mind, but experience lives in the body. And the third thing is be being empowered by using the energies of the 5D or the fifth dimension to discover and live your unique purpose. And this is really a fancy way of saying there are really powerful, new, high-frequency energies that are available to us now here on the earth that weren't necessarily accessible to us 10 years ago, maybe even as recent as 5 years ago. But they are here now, and they're accessible to everybody, and they're flowing through us. And we can learn to leverage these energies. And when we do, we move into a powerful place where we know. We don't have to think it. We don't have to try and figure it out. We know. Knowing isn't a body thing. Again, it's a cellular knowing. It's an energetic feeling. We know what our life purpose is. And we are connected with and we are guided to powerfully step into that. And we know how to do that. So that is what this recording does. I mean, it's just amazing. So you can see how these all build on one another. So far, we're moving out of the head into the heart, then we're busting down the walls of the limitation of the mind, and then we're using the energies that are here now to know our purpose and step into it, and we feel delicious doing all of it. All of it feels so yummy, yummy, yummy. And then the next thing is a tool that you use every single day. You want to use this daily. It's short, and so it's easy to use every day. It's called the Instant Joy Process. It came through the collective, as so many yummy things do, and it is a beautiful process, a quick process through which you move into the space of the heart, into this infinite joy, infinite light in there, and you just expand. Boom. And it's quick and it's easy. And if you do it daily, you're just going to be moving into this joy. And remember, joy exists in the space of the heart. Joy does not exist in the space of the mind. Joy is not a thought thing. It's not a thinking thing. It's an experiential thing. It's something that, again, lives in the body. So it's just a beautiful tool. And then, after all of this stuff that we've been flowing through here, you want to not have any limitations in your ability to receive. Because everything that you're doing, you're moving into these spaces, you're expanding, you're flowing this energy, you're knowing who you are, you're expressing your purpose. Well, you want to receive as infinitely also. And way too often we have limitations, programmed limitations on what we allow ourselves to receive. Well, this is a beautiful way to open that up. It's called Receive It All. Throw open the doors to infinite receiving. Infinite receiving is receiving, as it says, infinitely. No limitations upon what you can receive. So you receive as much as you are able to hold in any moment. And you can continuously, and you are continuously expanding, so you can continuously receive more and more and more and more and more. And when you use this this is a guided meditation that flows powerful energy throughout it, and it's got beautiful visualization, all 100% channeled also. Everything that I do is channeled. So you move into this, it's like you're opening the basket that you have to hold and expanding it. And you got a bigger basket every moment. And it's just so wonderful. And when you're using all of these things, you're going to be vibrating so highly and so powerfully. Your life is just going to look different. It's really fantastic.
And $97. I mean, that's
yes.
Pretty amazing.
Yes, $97 for all of it. All of it.
Yes.
I'm literally giving it away.
Yes, no kidding. And really, because any one of these modules, I guess you would call them, they're more than that, would be worth way, way more than $97. And it's a fabulous, fabulous package. And one more time, simply click on the special offer button that's on this page.
And then get prepared to feel really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And experience wonderful, wonderful things.
Yes. Well, would you like to take us through an experience of a really wonderful thing right now?
Yes. What I'd like to do is I'd like to allow the collective to lead you into an experience of actually being in the space of the heart, moving into the space of the heart and experiencing it. So you have a ground for that. In other words, you've got a ground on which to stand to know the experience. And when you know something, like I've been saying, you can return to it. You can create it again. So you can experience it again. Without any context for something, it's very difficult to create it because we get so stuck in, I don't know how, I don't know what it's like. Blah, 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 blah. So we're going to get rid of all of that resistance. So first thing I want everyone to do is just relax. Get into a comfortable position. If you need to shift your body around, uncross anything that's crossed, and just allow yourself to get soft and just relax. Feel your muscles getting soft and relaxed. Whether you're lying down, whether you're sitting, doesn't matter, but just allow yourself to be soft and comfortable. If you want to shift into a more comfortable way, if your body's just, you're not feeling that comfortable the way you are, do it. You want to get up and move, do it all right now while I'm talking. As I'm talking right now, I'm raising my energy and flowing more so that I can allow the collective to flow through. So momentarily they will take over and they will continue this. But meanwhile, I'll kind of begin because I know that we got to keep moving because the time is ticking away. So as you're in this comfortable position, I want you to, I feel the collective are ready to come in, so I'm going to let them. Okay. Hi, everybody. We're here. Okay, so we're going to take over and we're going to lead this. So we know that you are relaxed or you are in a relaxing position, so we want you to just continue that. And we want you to close your eyes. We want you to imagine that you are breathing in through the top of your head. And so breathe in through the crown chakra. And imagine that your breath is like a beautiful light, filled with light. And as you breathe it in, just blow it down, 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 all the way down through all the chakra points to your lower abdominal area. And allow it to swirl down there in a beautiful, gentle vortex. And not a fast spinning vortex, but a nice, medium to slow spinning, soothing feeling vortex. It doesn't matter what direction it spins in. It will spin in whatever direction is right for you at the moment. And just so you get the feeling for this, just feel that. And then when you're ready to exhale, bring the breath up through this imaginary front channel and exhale it through your mouth. So we're going to do that again. We're going to practice that again. So bring this breath in through the top of your head. Flow it down, 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 all the way down to the lower abdominal area. And as it flows down, it relaxes you even further. Relaxes all of your muscles and tension just walks out of them, just leaves. And as it flows down and spins in this gentle vortex, you relax further and you feel this beautiful vortex and energy flowing within your lower belly. And when you're ready to exhale, you bring this breath up through this front channel and exhale through the mouth. So this is how we're going to be guiding you to breathe. So we're going to now continue this. So breathe in through the top of your head, this beautiful light-filled breath. Beautiful, radiant, light-filled breath flowing down, down, down. And as it flows, it illuminates every chakra point and illuminates your body and just flows all the way down to this beautiful vortex. And as it rotates in this beautiful vortex, it's brilliantly lit with light. And the light just overflows out and flows into every portion of your body. The light flows down into your legs, up into your trunk, out into your arms, your fingers. Everything gets lit up. And it's just beautiful. And whenever you're ready, you bring the breath up the front channel and you exhale through the mouth, but you leave all of this light in the body. And once again, breathe in through the top of your head, this beautiful light-filled breath, and flow it down, 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 all the way down to the lower abdominal area. And let it swirl in this beautiful vortex of light. And once again, let all the light overflow and fill into every cell of your body, illuminating every cell and every space of your body. With so much light, it looks like billions of stars twinkling. And as it does, every bit of tension that is in your body anywhere just leaves. It's just gone, dissolved, vanished. And whenever you're ready to exhale, just bring your breath up through the front and exhale through the mouth, leaving all of this light in your body. And again, breathe in the beautiful light. Beautiful breath filled with light through the top of your head, blowing it down, 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 relaxing and relaxing and relaxing. And let it flow and swirl in the beautiful vortex of light. And as it does, the light spills out and illuminates your cells even more. So now everything within your body is a glowing field of light, just illuminated so brilliantly that as you look within your body, you just see this brilliant light shining everywhere, sparkling and twinkling in every cell. It's like every cell is dancing with delight and joy, with the light flowing. And whenever you're ready, you exhale through the mouth, but just keep your awareness within your body. And I want you to continue to breathe through the top of your head like this, flowing the light in. But just keep the awareness in your body with the light. We don't want you to stop breathing, though. We know that you can do that. We tend to do that, but just keep breathing this delicious way, bringing more and more light in. Now we're going to take your attention and awareness, and we're going to bring it into the space of the heart. So we want you to take your hand, your physical hand, your light-filled physical hand, and put it over your chest where your heart is. Now, as you do, you're going to notice it feels really different because your hand is vibrating now with all of this light. The light in all of its cells. And your body is filled with this light. And your heart area is filled with this light. And so as you bring your light-filled hand to where your light-filled heart is, and you put them together, it's going to be like this burst of light occurs. And even more light now is under your hand. And it's going to be like this, this woof. We don't even have a word. It just feels delicious. It feels great. And as you bring your awareness underneath your hand into the space, to where you know your heart center to be. It's a center. It's like a room. But we hate to use the word room because you picture a room with having walls. And this is an open room with no walls. So we're going to look at it as a space. And it's an illuminated space filled with light. And as you bring your consciousness and awareness there, you're going to see this light. You're going to be in this space of brilliant light. And you're going to notice that it feels very, very, very good. And you're going to notice that it feels very expansive. And as you just imagine yourself standing around, looking around in this expansive state of light, as you bring your consciousness there, it's like you make yourself into a miniature being and you move into this space and you're just standing there looking around, and it's big and it feels very expansive. And we want you to notice that. We want you to notice how light it is, how big it is, and we want you to feel it. We want you to notice how it feels and how expansive it feels. And we want you to pay attention to that. And then we want you to notice that as you look within this expansive lit up space, that you can see and you can perceive it going on forever. That you can move your consciousness and your awareness out into this infinite field of light that you can experience it. And so we invite you to do that. Just imagine yourself just zooming out from wherever you were. Just look in any direction and just flow out as far as you can imagine flowing in that direction. And as you do, we want you to feel the experience of that amazing expansiveness and that amazing feeling of just moving into this more light. And just, there's no words for this. It's just this wow. And we want you to be in the wow of it. We want you to be in the of it. And we want you to be in the, oh, it's so bright of it. And we want you to be in the delicious, joyful of it. So just allow yourself to be in all of that and just play. And there's no way to do it right or better than there's just doing it. So just allow it to just flow and play and be, and know that you can go in any direction and just experience it. And it's all good, and it's all yummy, and it's all perfect, and it's all delicious, and it's all playful, and it's all wonderful. And it feels so good. Just allow yourself to feel it and feel how yummy it is. And notice how bright it is. And notice how big it is. And just feel it. Just feel that. Just allow that to be a feeling. And allow it to become more of a feeling. And allow the smile, or actually become aware of the smile that is already there in your heart space. Just notice that you have this smile in your heart that is really, really, really big right now. And you feel so big. And you feel like this energy is just pouring out of you and just pouring out into this infinite space of light all around you. And you may also notice that the smile is on your face too, and it just is so big. It's like this plastered smile on your face, and it's just stuck there, and that's all good. And you may notice that every cell in your body is having a party and grinning and smiling too, and that everything is in alignment and flowing with this big, huge smile of delicious energy and light and just wonderful, infinite flow. And it just feels so good. And now that you're feeling all that, now that you're just in this immersed feeling, we're going to anchor this into you so that you can just quickly move back into the state of being. Because it's a state of experience and being. It's yummy deliciousness. So as you're feeling it and you're feeling this huge, like, expansive feeling in your belly and your heart, and it's almost like a tickle inside your belly. It feels so good. You just want to laugh. It's so yummy. Ooh, good. Now take your finger, your forefinger and your thumb on your dominant hand. And we want you to squeeze them together. Just squeeze them. And as you're squeezing them, we want you to become aware of the little line of pressure that is happening between them as they press together. There's just a little line. It's like there's a line there. And we want you to, when you notice that line, to then move your awareness back into this feeling in your heart, move back into the space of that expansiveness and that tickle and that joy and that, that yummy energy just flowing out of you, and that light and that delicious feeling. And then think of that line again, become aware of that line between the two fingers pressing together, and then feel that expansiveness. And then breathe. Just take a breath in and out. And know that when you squeeze these fingers together and you're aware of and feeling this line of pressure, that you are going to also become aware of this expansive feeling instantly. Instantly, you're going to feel it. So now you can relax your fingers and just take a deep breath again and move back into this expansive space. Breathe in and exhale and just move back into that yummy, expansive space. Now we want to bring your awareness fully back into that of your body. Move back, expand your awareness out into all of your body so you see all of this light within your body form. And you're aware of your full body form. And you see every cell lit up, and you see this light flowing and the energy flowing, and your body feels so good. And now is the perfect time to say, body, thank you for the perfect well-being and health that you are giving me at this moment and every moment. And I appreciate it, and I allow it, and I love you, and I appreciate you, and thank you for being my partner in this experience of reality. I love you. I love you. I love you. So acknowledge your body and send it love and appreciation, and just feel the love come back to you from every cell, and allow yourself to receive it. Just feel that and receive it. Trillions of cells are sending you love right now. They're saying, oh, we love you so much. Oh. So allow yourself to receive that. Feels so good. Now, bring your awareness more into your body, and so that you can feel your body form. And you can feel your body form on the surface that you're on, whether it be that you're sitting and you feel the surface that is underneath you, that is pressing up against you as you sit in a chair, or a surface that you are lying on that is pressing up on your body that you are lying on, the weight of your body pressing down, and become aware of the weight of your body pressing against the surface that you're sitting or lying on, and become aware of the form of your body. And as you move your awareness back into the space of the form of your body, become aware of the fact that there's toes, and that there's a foot, that there's legs, and that there's a trunk, and that there's arms and fingers, and a neck and a head, and that you have organs that are flowing beautiful energy. And notice how beautifully they're working, and the energy's flowing, and the blood is flowing through your body, and the lymph, and everything is flowing so magnificently and working perfectly, and everything is just a beautiful expression of this unlimited, beautiful light and energy that is flowing through you in any moment. And as you're aware of that and you're aware of your body form, we want you to become aware that you can move your body. So we want you to now wiggle a portion of your body. We want you to wiggle your toes. Become aware and wiggle your toes. So wiggle your toes, wiggle your feet, and wiggle and move your arms, and bring your awareness and your attention back up into the space behind your eyes. Don't open your eyes yet, but just bring your awareness and attention back there. And breathe in as you're wiggling. And as your attention and awareness is behind your eyes, we want you to create the space that you're in. So at this point, you can create your room and the space that you're in any way that you want. So if you want to have it be cleaner, if you want to have it be brighter, if you want to experience the colors be more vivid and more intense, if you want to experience the energy of it being more joyful, we invite you to do that right now. This is your experience. So you create it any way that you want. So we want you to imagine the room that you're in and to see it with your eyes closed the way that you want it to be. Put it back together the way that you want it to be. So go ahead and do that right now. Good, good. This is your space, your yummy space. So now we're going to open your eyes. We're going to count to 3. And when we reach 3, we want you to open your eyes into the space that you have just created. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes. Good. Welcome back. And what do you see?
I feel like I've been on a journey. I can't speak.
Well, that is exactly it. You did go on a journey. We just took you on a beautiful, energetic journey into yourself. But yet, as we took you into yourself, we took you into infinite source, because when you go within you, you are actually going into infinite source, because there's no difference or distinction between the inside of you and infinite source. Isn't that magical? So as you move your attention and awareness out of your mind into your heart and into this inside place, you are moving into infinite source, infinite light, infinite possibility, and infinite deliciousness. So that little journey is everything.
Well, I'd say with an emphasis on deliciousness. And I am going to have to open my eyes, because I want to tell everybody that they absolutely, if they want more of this,
just click on the special offer button on this page to see for yourself what an amazing package this is. You will be so glad you did.
Because that way you can experience this deliciousness every day.
Yes, more and more, because everything in the special offer builds on itself. So it's like us climbing up the steps. And so you're climbing up and up and up into higher frequencies of energy flowing, higher frequencies of energy flowing, climbing up into more expansion, more light, and bigger and bigger and bigger, building the momentum more and more. And momentum is everything. Everything is momentum.
Well, it's so cute, because you are always just high energy, and we're all like expanded into the universe, but I know that that's where you live. So.
It's where everyone lives. Everyone lives. Everyone just doesn't allow themselves to experience it. That's all. It's right there always.
I think, for the sake of those of us who would like to stay here, I think that we should sign off and just say thank you to you, because the knowledge you've shared with us, the experience that you've given us, the special offer that you offered to us has been, no words, extraordinary, generous, delicious, as you would say, yummy. And all I can say is thank you, thank you, thank you. And will you come back and be with us again?
It would be my pleasure. It would be my pleasure. I have loved being with you. I love having the opportunity to be with everybody and to show everybody what's possible. I just love it.
Well, from this experience, I know that we all have felt what's possible. We all have experienced what's possible. And I just can't thank you enough. This has been absolutely extraordinary. So all I can say is thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for having me.
And thank you to everyone for spending this time with me and with Amy Flynn. And I look forward to when we are all together again. This is Debra Poneman. Have an extraordinary rest of your day. I know you will. Bye for now.